I bought a 1967 Mustang Coupe, thinking I'd just clean it up and drive it. Instead, I cut it in half. I spent over 50 grand. But roughly right now we're at about $48,000 spent. If you want to rob something, come rob this. Please don't. I've bled. Currently driving to urgent care because the angle grinder went right through my knee. This is what it looks like. I've cried. I've learned how to weld. Well, barely. Alright. my first ever weld. Oh my god, that's so funny. I'm broke, I'm behind, and I'm in too deep. But I'm turning this rusted coupe into a fastback, one piece at a time. And I will finish it by the summer. This is my Mustang, this is my dream, and this is episode 8 of the Rust to Roar build series. Man, you guys really joined me for another episode of converting my fully American 1967 Mustang Coupe to a fastback using a fastback kit. So technically, this is an American. This is like a Taiwanese Mustang because a lot of this metal is from Taiwan. Actually, mostly all of it except for little scraps I bought from the metal store. I always wanted a fastback. Fastback is my dream car, but I couldn't afford that. So what did I do? I bought a 1967 Mustang Coupe. It was a good day. I went out, I paid like $5,100. I bought myself a coupe. Slowly as I'm building it, the idea of fastback never left my head. So I decided that last minute, I'm going to convert this car to a fastback after putting all the metal work in to the coupe. I have the coupe quarters, I have the coupe wheelhouses, I have the coupe everything in my basement. But we decided to go to the fastback route because look at this back. Does it look fast to you? I know. It's beautiful. Now, this has been no easy task. I've learned so much. I've struggled in basically every episode I've showed you guys, and it's just been an endless amount of pain and suffering. What you see behind me isn't fully welded together. It's all self-tapped. I want to weld this car together because in return for me building this entire gate fully self-opens, my dad, as a thank you, got me the special surprise that's in this box. And if you don't know what that is, it's something that can basically make your car like a rotisserie chicken in the store. It basically flips it upside down so you can get a full rotisserie build and do everything on your car instead of trying to be on your hands and knees. So it's like what show cars use to get that perfect build. Okay, Anthony, cool story. Like, what are you gonna do on it today? Well, right now, I need to put these drip rails in. So Ford basically put these in for people who smoked in 1967 because when they wanted to put the window down to let the smoke out, the rain would come to the car. So they added this. This is a drip rail. You can delete them, but I'm leaving mine in because I like the look. And we gotta weld this in perfectly. So today, I'm gonna try to weld that in perfectly because it's an important piece of the car. First things first, before welding anything, I had to line up the drip rail. It's supposed to fit perfectly on the two little squares, except it didn't. So after some bending and some swearing, and me wondering why I do this to myself, I finally got it to fit. I ran in a bunch of self-tapper screws, which not only hold it firm, but it also gives me reference points. So when it comes time to weld, I just match the holes and know it's good. And for once, it actually lines up clean around the quarter panel and roof. Before you guys even say anything, I don't want to hear anything about the GM hat and the Ford Mustang shirt, okay? I like both brands. My dad works for GM, so. Anyways, you can see we got these two self-tappers in here, 1 and 2, and they're circled, so I know not to weld these two, because if you don't circle them, you'll think it's a regular plug weld spot and you'll weld them. So I got them circled. Now that I know this fits good, you guys can see it's firmly connected all the way. Like, it's pretty good. It's in the center of those squares. I can take it back off. I'm gonna take the roof off and then I'm gonna clean under this, put a little weld through primer. After I weld it in, I'm gonna grind it down and it will be a piece that's finally out of the car. Like, that's been a weird, odd piece for me. Like, I just haven't been doing it and it just seems like such a small thing, but it isn't. So I procrastinate a lot in this car, I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, I'm excited to use my new welder. It completely broke. It made a big arc in the ground port and sparked. Flashback to that. So my welder broke while I was putting in this gate, and this Eastwood welder took a poop. It arced inside the ground plug and made a big flash, and so my dad went out and bought me this one. He spent money on this one for me, so I'm very appreciative of that. Now I got a new welder to do the car. Awesome. So yeah, my dad went out and he got me this new welder that I'm super thankful for because this is not cheap. Great welder. But let's go. I'm gonna take this back off. Prime, sand, grind, paint, blah 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 blah, and weld. So there's this little tab. I don't even remember what it was for, but it has a little Phillips head screwdriver connected to this middle tab, and it is stuck in there. I cannot get it out, so we're resorting to the drill bit, and we're just gonna drill right through it and try to get that piece out. I don't know why it's there. You guys know? Let me know in the comments what this was for. No clue what that was for. This drill bit was made for metal, but it wouldn't even go through this screw. So I grabbed the air hammer. So I'm gonna get this air hammer, stick it right on the edge of the screw because it wouldn't drill out. Now my air hammer's broke. What the heck? The air hammer never fails me, but today it was acting weird, but it finally broke it off. There we go. All right, so that fell out. Now I can just literally punch it through the hole with a hammer, and I can plug that up with a weld. And if I ever need to re-drill it after you guys tell me what it is, I will re-drill it. Now I can get back in here with the grinder and finish cleaning it up. So now I just grinded and sanded and filled my lungs with as much toxic particles as possible. Now, one step a lot of people miss is you gotta clean the metal before you paint it. So what I do is I blow it off, then I put acetone, and then I paint. So then it's scuffed, the paint adheres, and there's nothing dirty between the metal and the paint. Now, look how white this is, and watch how dirty the metal actually is when you go and clean it. And this is removing all the old paint, all the old grease, everything. That's why you have to clean your metal, because if you paint it, stuff's just gonna get right underneath again. I'm gonna go a second pass just to show you again. Still not clean. It's a lot more white than it was before, so after putting a layer of weld-through primer on everything, I was finally ready to melt some metal. All right, guys, I'm about to start welding this drip rail in, starting from the bottom, moving up, just so it's butted nice and tight and I can hammer it in closer and closer as I move up. But I just wanted to take a few seconds to say one thing. If you watch my videos because you just found this channel, this is the first time you're watching, or you watched a few videos of me work on the car, maybe you're just interested in the car alone, I don't know what it is, but whatever your reason is for watching this video, I just hope you can come on here and just relax and detangle and de-stress from your day that you had. Sit back, think about nothing, just enjoy the content. I just wanted to make this videos something that you can come and relax and not have to think about work, money, finances, what's going on in your life, but just literally rest. That's the video I want to make for you, something you can enjoy and just rest. So I just want to say mental health for men and everyone matters very much. And if you guys ever need anything, if you need to leave a comment or text me privately on Instagram, I'm here for all of you. And I just want you guys to enjoy my videos and just use them as a relief from your day, because that's what I want them to be for you. I learn from you guys, and I want you guys to relax and have a stress-free couple of minutes, 12 minutes, or whatever I can provide you a week of this 67 Fastback. Maybe a Lamborghini one day. So we're gonna use this new welder my dad got me. It's the titanium welder. I'm so excited. I used it a few times. 15.5. I'm gonna make it just a little more hot because I don't want my puddle to be too high. All right, let's start this first puddle. So now I got this nice hammer set right here. This is just from Harbor Freight, just to pound the dents down, just so the metal is right on metal. So like, it's a little high here, so you can just, I'm gonna get my grinder back out though, because this still has weld-through primer, and the weld-through primer doesn't conduct too well for being weld-through primer. I say it all the time, but it still adds that layer of protection, and it still welds if you can touch the metal at first. So I got my die grinder and put a little diamond tip on it and got all the paint out of where I'm doing the plug weld, just so nothing would corrupt. And then I did this process of hammering, welding, all the way down the drip rail so it would be nice and super flat, so it didn't obstruct the roof at all when it comes time to put that on. And I had to go all the way down, so this did take a little bit. Once I finished that, I removed all the self-tappers and plugged all the holes, and then it was the best part, grinding for about an hour and a half, just making sure everything is smooth and nothing sticking out. I used the die grinder and an angle grinder, and then it was on to the other side. All right guys, next day, about to go to class right now, but I just came out here and organized the garage, so I'm ready and prepared to do the other drip rail on the other side. This side though, I noticed it's a little more rusty. You can kind of see down here, and I do gotta grind some metal off. So there's this stuff called OSPO that neutralizes the rust pretty well. The only thing is you gotta let it sit a little bit, and I'm willing to take the time to let that sit because I don't want that rust coming back. If you wire wheel all the rust off and just put paint over it, yeah, the rust off, but it's gonna come back. So you gotta neutralize it with stuff like OSPO. If you don't know about this, learn about it. I learned about it through my engine builder. So I'm gonna spray that on, let it sit. It's gonna crystallize and kind of get hard, and then you just sand it off. And then don't wanna wear gloves because this stuff kind of stings cuts a little bit.
Was it
you just let that sit, and it'll do its job in neutralizing that rust. And then I also got another one of these tabs, guys. What the hell are these tabs? I don't know what they are. All right, guys, so I waited probably 24 hours since I last showed you. I put that OSPO on, and you can kind of see it. And not it crystallizes, but it turns white, and it literally just somehow dissolves the rust. I don't know how it works, or I don't know how it neutralizes it, but it works good. And it's a good practice to put that stuff on before you actually prime or paint anything, because the rust has a lower chance coming back. I like to say no chance, but rust always comes back. That's the one thing about these cars is when you're in a place like this, Buffalo, New York, there's no avoiding it. It's super important that I do get all this OSPO off now that it's dry, because if I paint over it later on, the chemicals could react in heat or cooling climates, and it could actually ruin the paint. So I got a wire brush and got everything off. I had to remove that screw that I still don't know what it is on the other side, and I used a hammer and it actually screwed out the rest of the way with the screwdriver. And then we ran into a big problem. So we ran into another little hiccup that's gonna keep this video from being delayed even more, from me just getting the quarter panels on. I should have never promised that. But on this side, I see something I don't like. So you can see this is where this strip rail is gonna weld. It goes right along this, sits flat against this A-pillar. Now, if you look in here, this can all be grinded smooth, but it gets a little worse down here. And if you come a little more down where I was just air hammering it, I put a hole in this metal. And you know, guys, that's my fault, right? But the hole wouldn't be this easy if the metal was strong. So that means this metal is weak, and you know, it's obvious to tell. You can tell this metal right here is weak. It's no, you know, it's straight obvious. So basically, I picked up this piece a while back. I didn't use it, but I still got it. I think I'm gonna cut a portion of this out down here, cut a portion of this out, and re-weld it in all the way up to here. And that will protect rust from ever getting in there again. Because if I just put, you know, primer over this, it's just gonna rust. It's just a matter of time when, you know, I'm 29 and I have my kid, I'm like, oh, it's starting to rust. I don't want that. So I think I'm gonna have to spend time cutting that out right now and welding a new piece in, which I just don't wanna do. I just wanna weld the quarters on so bad and do everything back here, but oh well, let me get to that. To cut out half an A-pillar, I needed to remove the door to gain access so I can cut and weld in that area. I haven't removed this door in over a year, so it was kind of scary because it means I have to have my quarter panels on right. I had to see the area I wanted to cut better, so I sanded everything down and then began to draw a line roughly where I wanted to cut. You know, I thought that I was gone with the days of removing rusty stuff off this car, but when I tell you it never ends, it never ends, because here I am removing more rusty stuff. I already cut the whole car off. Like, this whole car is all new. So I already traced where I'm gonna cut. Now I'm gonna draw out the spot welds and basically put a whole new piece on here. Now this, guys, is the holy grail. So once you have those pilot holes, which I should have drilled smaller, this is specifically for spot welds, and it cuts out around the first piece of metal, and it basically cuts a hole around the weld, and then the air hammer or just a regular hammer should get the rest off. All right, guys, so the next thing, this piece is basically all cut out. I might have cut through 2 layers of metal on some parts of it, but the next part is the easy part, kind of. You basically use an air hammer or a chisel and a hammer. You use an air hammer, it works super easy, super quick, and I can get this off in 2 seconds, but it is a little more messy. It dents the metal and it bends things. So if you use something small like a little pry or something like this, it's more controllable, but it takes longer. So I'm gonna try to break some of these welds right now. I'm so sorry to interrupt the video. It'll be back in a second. I went to Target today and I picked up 4 Visa gift cards. 4 of you who randomly purchase merch by next Friday, 10/10/25, when my next episode drops, you are randomly gonna win the gift cards that I picked up today. A $25 one, a $50 one, $100 and $100. Anyone can win any gift card as long as you support and buy something as small as a sticker or a shirt. You are entered into that. Link is in the description for that or at the end of the video. Thank you, Blair, for supporting last time. And Michael Angelo, you won the welder, but we already got in touch. Appreciate it. I don't want to pretend this is like a TV show and this is coming off easy. I just worked this for like 20 minutes, but it's definitely loose. Just gotta keep going. You can kind of see how it's popping up a little right here. You guys see that? So I gotta keep working. Hey! Wow, guys, we got the piece off. Now, if you want to see what it looks like inside of this rusty A-pillar from over 50 years of rust, well, that's my internal frame coating that I put in there, but the parts that it didn't get, they put metal on metal here. That's all rust. Now, I'm happy I can get access to this, and you know, I'll clean all this up, but it's just crazy that they used to put metal on metal. I mean, they still probably do, but at least there's like weldable primers now and stuff like that. So now I'm gonna clean all this up, grind it all down, and I gotta make this piece basically out of this. Now, everyone says that they're grinding in their life, you know, they work hard and they're going through everything and it's tough. Well, guys, that term came from literally grinding metal because it is the most boring, mean, stupid thing you could do because it just takes so much time, there's sparks and everything, and it's just a real pain in the ASS. So after some more painful grinding, I had to get a torch and kind of heat up this spot here where the door hooks in because there was a little bit of seam sealer, and when you try to weld over seam sealer, it will just corrupt the weld. I have no clue how I'm gonna measure this new piece to go in here because this is such an awkward cut, but like everything in life, you can do rough measurements. Maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hour process to get this where it is now. And it's not even perfect yet, but you can see here that it fits in. Honestly, out of everything on the car, this is the kind of work I like doing the most. I hate removing stuff, but like once it's fitted in there and once it's welded on, you're just like, wow, like you can't even tell that was ever taken off. But in every single one of these joints that I didn't replace, there's rust. Like right here, so much rust. This whole car, that's how they are. Metal on metal will rust, but metal's so thick that it shouldn't cause me a problem for a while. Now I'm just gonna run a quick weld right here where I accidentally cut too deep and then just fill these two holes just because I want it nice and flat to weld my plug welds to. Guys, I don't want to sound arrogant here, but actually it's probably not a good thing. I can fill a hole with MIG welding better than anyone. I think we're safe to weld that on. She fits good, and heck yeah. Off camera, I tacked it in, pounding it smooth. Like, I don't want this lip to be raised, so I pounded it all the way down here, all the way down here. So if you can see, it's flat, you know, going down here and then going down here. And then this corner here is a different radius than this corner. It's a reproduction part, so they're different. And this corner is different from this corner. So it's gonna be a matter of body work to basically get all that smooth and neat. But I got it as close as I personally can, which makes me happy. Now down here, super flat. This took hours of hammering. It's still a little high right here. But basically what helps too is getting this tool. I bent a screwdriver and I just kind of get in there and pry it up. Now you guys can see after I did some 60, 100, and 220, you guys can kind of see in the light how it's indented a little bit, but time for the boring part of more grinding. Online class still going on, you can kind of hear it. So boring. Got it fully welded on now. This piece is totally on, secure, and when we compare it to this old piece here, I'd say that's a win. Look at this, guys. I mean, I made it look messed up, but I'm speaking of this. Look at all that pitting. There's basically the finished result of most of the welding, most of the grinding. Obviously a lot of touch-up needed. I did accidentally drill these 4 holes down here. I don't know what I was thinking to drill those, so I gotta fill those right now. So there we go, fully plug welded. Look at that. That's artwork, and I am an artist, and I love doing this stuff.